Hey y'all, my name's Robin and I work for a nonprofit in Austin, Texas called I Live Here, I Give Here. And we make giving accessible in local communities. So let's talk about giving. Today is International Day of Charity. It's a day that's meant to highlight all the amazing ways to give back in the community. Yes, there's International Days of Charity, but also you can find a way to give back every day. We really believe that giving back can be accessible and possible for everyone, especially when you weave really simple giving habits into your everyday day-to-day life. So let's start talking about giving using something you may or may not have heard before called the 5 T's of giving. There is time, talent, treasure, ties, and testimony. And let's talk about what all those mean. We'll start first with testimony. This is sharing your own personal story. We all have passions. We have all been shaped by moments in our lives that draw us towards a particular nonprofit or cause. Say, for instance, you adopted a dog that you love from a shelter. Well, 1, that was giving back because you supported a local shelter. And 2, maybe you're so passionate about adopting, not shopping, that now you want to tell everybody about the power of rescuing pets. And so maybe that's your passion and you share that testimony out with a friend, and maybe your friend goes and adopts a dog and that other friend adopts a cat. And it all started with you sharing your personal story. Well, next you can weave that in with ties. Ties is when you take your social network and you start connecting your personal story with your personal life. You tell your friends, like, hey, I had a really amazing opportunity to volunteer at this organization. Or, hey, did you know that voting counts as giving back? It actually does. Voting is a really, really amazing way to give back to the community, especially voting in local elections. But you tell people about that, and then that turns into advocacy and it motivates others. It continues to connect the dots for people and helps them find ways that they are then tied to a nonprofit or tied to something good or tied to a community outreach movement. It kind of all works together. And then that leads us to talent. Talent is another really amazing way to give back. It's using the resources you personally have, whether it's your personal skills or your professional skills, and using that for good. So maybe it's volunteering to tutor some kids on the side who need help with math or science. Maybe it is you're a really beautiful artist and you want to get involved with a art project in town. It's taking all of these different ways that you're really good at something and applying them to a group of people or a nonprofit in need. It's also super fun when you do that. Now, if you're like, okay, that all sounds great, but I have a problem with time. Time is another really amazing resource to give back to a nonprofit because time is yours. So if you have a lot of time, you can do certain things. And if you have a little bit of time, you can use that and harness that for giving back in really special ways. If you have a lot of time, maybe you want to take on a lot of volunteering with a nonprofit. Maybe you want to work 2 days a week at a food pantry. Maybe you want to help your neighbor across the street who really needs help babysitting their kids. That's time. Or maybe you're going on a walk at the park and you see trash on the ground and you pick that up. That's also time. Whatever the way, you find the amount of time that you have and you use that to give back in some capacity. And then there's the very last T, which is treasure. And that, my friends, is the money. That's the one that can feel the scariest to a lot of people. It's hard out there. I get it. Giving financially can feel like a lot. That's why there are 5 T's, so that there's no pressure for you to donate. But if you can donate, that's fantastic. Nonprofits need that money to sustain their programs, to continue doing their mission-driven work, to keep the lights on. But money can come in many different forms. It can be large donations, it can be working on grants, and it can also be just $5. Think about the last time you heard about a friend in need and decided to donate a couple bucks to their GoFundMe. That was the power of giving back through treasure. It doesn't have to be a lot, because when everybody contributes to the collective impact, it makes huge movement happen. Which is why at I Live Here, I Give Here, we always talk about giving back in meaningful ways for you. Now, if you're like, that all sounds awesome, I think I have an idea of how I can maybe start giving back a little bit, dipping my toe in or making it more of a habit in my life, but maybe I want to do something with a local nonprofit. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. Well, if you live in Austin and Central Texas, we have the perfect resource for you. Visit amplifyatx.org. That is our online database. We have over 730 nonprofits listed. See their profile pages. See how you can help them. See what they need. It's all there at amplifyatx.org. And if you don't live in Austin and Central Texas, you can still take these words and go forth and give.